Namaste and welcome back. I'm Dr. Naresh Bana, and today we are on our third episode of the series on smart villages. In the first episode of Smart Village, we discussed what a smart village could be, and then we identified the essential component of the skill development for smart village. In that, we discussed that trying to prepare entrepreneurs is a better option than what is going on today. And in that series, today we are going to talk about how we can have the entrepreneurs prepared. And for that, the most important component is an incubator for the villages. Yes. And with me today is Deepika, and Deepika comes with a huge experience in the non-profit and philanthropy sectors, having been working in the rural landscape of the country, and she will be moderating. Over to Deepika.
Greetings, everyone. It is an honor to be here as we discuss the transformative role of the incubators in Indian villages. These initiatives are not just about fostering entrepreneurship, but also about empowering rural communities, tapping into their immense potential, and providing them with the tools and the resources to drive sustainable growth. My experiences in the villages, basically, it was a tour of major, very remote areas of Uttar Pradesh. And the problems that we faced while we interacted with the people, that they only wanted to be officers or jawans or maybe doctors or engineers. Leaving aside, they had such rich cultures of produce, of maybe so many handicrafts. Everything was provided there, but no. Why was this so? The answer was not clear to them. The questions were not clear to them. Today, we will explore how these incubators are becoming the bridge between traditional livelihoods of modern innovation, ensuring that no dream, no matter where it originates, is left unrealized. Let us hear from Dr. Bana how we can dive into it and work towards to nurture the seeds for the change. Dr. Bana, what do you think are the challenges we face?
There are many challenges. Actually, most of my talk today is based on first hand experiences where I have experienced in my own village how a farmer producer company was set up and problems faced, and today it is in a pause mode. That means it's not functional. We are learning, we will initiate again. But coming back, the rural landscape today needs a sustained effort towards setting up incubation centers. And an incubation center, before we go further, is an enabling point, an enabling platform which allows the youngsters, the keen entrepreneurs to set up and to learn to set up the business, to be mentored, to network, to obtain finance, to get support in running their business, and complying to the taxation, regulatory, and other statutory authorities. So, overall, when you see this 66% of our country's population, their capacity for entrepreneurship needs an urgent attention. And this attention is not that I am talking for the first time. The work has been done, but it needs to be visible. It needs to be practical. It needs to be of use to people for whom it is meant for.
I understand that the prospects what you was talking about are exact too many, too much. But how do we get connected to them? How do we approach them? What are the pitfalls before we go and talk to them we have to face? So I would just like to know that from you.
See, the very fact which you mentioned is that there has to be a connect. What do you do? First and foremost, the government and the people who are keen to work along, they have to be understanding what are they addressing. As you rightly said, they are today keen on taking up a job, whether in the police, military, or any other such organization where they can just render their services and get paid. There is very little about the entrepreneurship, whereas they're born entrepreneurs. Every farmer, every village livelihood earner does transactions. They produce whether commodities or the services. And now they have to be just formalized. Their needs have to be structured. Today, they are facing lack of capacity, they are facing lack of networking, mentoring, apathy of bureaucracy at the district level or the sub district level, corruption at each step, and then they also have to face the government's wrath when they are not able to file up their tax details, their GST, and other compliance requirement. So all this has to be addressed before we go there and open an incubation center.
Yes, Dr. Bana, I agree to it that these are the the pitfalls. But what I believe, what when I was traveling through these villages, children, youngsters, they are not aware of what good they can do around their own community, within their own villages. That teaching is not there.
Correct.
It is that they want to do graduations and then they have to go ahead. But as discussed earlier before doing this podcast, we were just discussing why can't we let them, understand of entrepreneurship when they are in 9th and 10th standard. So rather than juggling themselves and going over there, it's better that they can, do something. So what are the key challenges we can face if we go and, connect with the children or the youngsters or the rural people or through gram pradhans and villages, whatever. So, what is your answer to the challenges that we would face in connecting with them?
Problem you have identified correctly. The issue remains that our policies and the education system today is producing what you just mentioned, the degrees holders or the qualifications without any vocational utilization. They have to be very focused in creating or preparing students not only from 9th 10th onwards but much before, right?
Correct.
When you and me, when we go to villages, we should be looking at people who are hungry for taking up a business.
Very rightly
Right.
said, sir. जब तक पेट नहीं भरेंगे, तो how will they
So
proceed
what
it?
is important is to make them enterprise ready, so that they, if not, they should be able to go and sell the vegetable which is grown in their own field in the uh, vegetable market. Not an easy job. Certainly not an easy job, because those who are not used to selling vegetable, for them to sit and offer their vegetables for sale is a difficult thing, and for that maybe we can have another episode. It requires a lot of mental conditioning, it requires a lot of soft skills of negotiations of uh, many other kinds, marketing, and then patience.
Of course.
So we need to, what overall I wish to say, that we need to start working right from the primary level of schools, that yes, we are creating entrepreneurs, people who would look up at the, as they grow up to take up a job, whether it's small, based on their own rural resources within their own village or in their surrounding areas or in the city, it will not only be good for them to increase their livelihood locally, but it will be more sustainable, it will be more energy efficient, and it will be overall doing overall good to their livelihood and aspirations further.
Correct, rightly said. So, what do you think, as for you, are the essential components, or how can we deliver?
We need to, first and foremost, the government needs to come up with a policy, because without government, this humongous initiative or the intervention cannot happen. I would like to cut. I wish to reach out through this podcast to the minister concerned and request that the way we have incubation centers in IITs, IIMs, and many other top institutions around the country, which are being supported, funded by the government, we need to have one such rural incubation center, if not at every village, but every panchayat level. And that needs to be publicized. It has to be uh, manned by the dedicated people who are fairly senior, who could be good mentors, and who can support them in their entire journey of becoming an entrepreneur. This is the need of the hour, because world over we have seen that it is the nano, micro, and medium enterprises which, when duly supported by the government, lead to extensive economic growth. This would also solve our problem of jobs, employment, because they will not only be entrepreneurs themselves, they will also create employment for others. This is what I'm trying to say.
And Dr. Bana, what are the potential sectors where we can deliver?
See, the rural landscape, when we talk about, is you start with agriculture, you have food processing industry, you have poultry, you have many other such associated business. Then you also have health, education, renewable energy. You name a thing and it is there. So at a scale, IT and IT enabled services. So all these sectors can have prospects of rural entrepreneurs emerging and taking up their due responsibility in this growing economy of our great nation.
And can we also hear from you that what are the successful models if we go ahead with the such components and where with sectors to deliver? And I'm sure that there must be some successful, components also. Like how do we approach?
The success, when we see us, the most prominent success has been in the IT sector, where the
Yes.
incubation centers of IITs, IIMs, and the engineering institutions have delivered. There are large number of thousands of startups which have come out of such incubation centers. Similarly, we are looking forward of at least having the first 100 good startups coming out of the rural incubation centers.
It was very insightful, very thoughtful, and it was great having Dr. Bana with us.
With that, we come to the end of today's episode. We will be back with yet another interesting discussion. Till then, keep watching. Namaste and have a nice day.